Remember back in December 2022 when Jennifer Lawrence claimed that Katniss Everdeen was the very first female-led hero in any film? Yeah. Did you not know that Ellen Ripley and Sarah Connor exist? Oh boy, but yeah, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the movie itself, the movie with Katniss Everdeen, and yeah, let's see how it is. Hey guys, this is Frozen Things Stews here, and welcome back to another review, and welcome back to once again another franchise review leading up to a new installment in the franchise. And this time around, I am going to be doing a review on the Hunger Games franchise leading up to the Hunger Games, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. And yeah, so yeah, let's get right into it. So yeah, I'm here today to review the Hunger Games, the first one. So the Hunger Games is the Hunger Games is a movie adaptation of the YA novel, one of if not the most popular of the novels, and is directed by Gary Ross and came out in the year 2012 and stars Jennifer Lawrence, Josh Hutcherson, I don't know if I pronounced the name right, Liam Hemsworth, Woody Harrelson, Elizabeth Banks, Stanley Tucci, Donald Sutherland, Wes Bentley, Toby Jones, Alexander Ludwig, Isabella Furman, Amanda Stenberg, Willow Shields, etc. And so basically the plot for the Hunger Games, it tells a story taking place in North America, Panem, where you know this town is now living in poverty and is split into 12 districts, and each districts would send a teenage boy and girl to compete in the Hunger Games in order for survival. The Hunger Games is basically a once a year kind of event where you know teens fight to survive, and I mean literally kill each other in like a battle royale. And the people who are in this the people are who are chosen to fight are called the tribute. So that is basically the concept of this universe. But the real plot is basically about Katniss Everdeen, who stands up to her younger sister Primrose Everdeen when Primrose was chosen to compete in this year's games. But yeah, but Katniss Everdeen, I almost said Kathleen Kennedy. What was wrong with me? Katniss Everdeen, volunteered herself. Sacrificed herself by volunteering to be one of the tributes because you know she was afraid that Primrose was going to get killed, so she decided to do that to protect Primrose. And so yeah, so now she's in the games, and she becomes one of, if not the most respected tribute for being the first and only volunteer, something that has never happened throughout the years. And yeah, so Katniss teams up with Peeta, who they both start a bond throughout. Yeah, Peeta, played by Josh Hutcherson, and they both work together to survive, and they both form this bonding, and basically they fight. Their main enemy is a bunch of teenage a bunch of evil teenagers named Kato, Clove, and Marvel, and yes, I've got to mention one actor in the cast, Jack Quaid. Yeah, a bunch of them. Because they're like pretty much the worst of the tributes, like the evil ones. So yeah, that's all for the plot. So yeah, now yes, I will say this right now. I am not a huge Hunger Games fanboy. I'm really like kind of giving you a glimpse on what I think of this franchise and what you may assume that I'll think of the sequels and this film. I think Hunger Games is an okay franchise. I know this franchise is very popular. This is almost like the present day Twilight, where everyone would obsessed about it. And then this movie franchise would also have a group of haters who would be like, Hunger Games sucks, I hate this franchise. But unlike Twilight though, this franchise is actually kind of well received. Specifically the first two film, the Mockingjay movies got pretty okay subpar reviews. But yeah, but when this franchise ended up with Mockingjay Part Two, Mockingjay Part Two, yeah, people just stopped talking about this franchise and moved on. And even just a few years after Mockingjay Part Two, YA movie adaptations stopped. Like they stopped making young adult movie adaptations. The last movie based on a YA novel we saw is The Darkest Minds, which I wanted to like, but it was very disappointing. And literally no one saw the film. So yeah, after The Darkest Minds, there was not a single YA novel adaptation until the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is coming out. Yeah, that could be the return to form to YA, but will it actually yeah, will it actually bring back the trend of making these YA adaptations? We'll see about that. Although I think some of you may know that I am hyped for Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Not merely because it's another Hunger Games movie, this wouldn't have been I wouldn't have been that high for Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes if it wasn't just another Hunger Games movie. I'll talk more about my background with Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes once I see it. And by the way, I'm seeing that movie on Sunday, so yeah, I'm seeing Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes on Sunday. But yeah, I will say that Rachel Zegler is the main reason why I'm hyped for this. I'm hyped for Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and also that the trailer was really good. Yeah, the marketing had me sold, and Rachel Zegler being in it. Yeah, but before Rachel Zegler's Lucy Gray Baird, we have Katniss Everdeen with the Katniss Everdeen, the popular Hunger Games movies. So yeah. And by the way, I'd like to give a shout out to one of my great YouTube friends, Ren Sandy. He's a massive Hunger Games fan, like a huge Hunger Games fan, and I can totally see why. Yeah, this franchise does have a fan base and all that stuff. So I mean, thankfully, it's even though I did compare this to Twilight, thankfully, like nowhere near as controversial. But yeah, let's get into my thoughts on the first Hunger Games movie. I won't spoil my thoughts in the sequels. But I will say though that none of them are bad. Like they range from okay to pretty great to great. None of them are masterpieces though. That's all I'll say about this franchise. They range from okay to great, but no masterpieces in this franchise. And this one was actually pretty okay. The Hunger Games is actually a kind of movie I could have loved, honestly. Like the concept, the idea, some of the stuff it does, like pushing the PG-13 rating to its limits, and trying to be very risky. Very risky. Like, and this has a lot of things that I could have loved in a movie. This movie has elements that would have made me love it. But however, it's not as good as it should be. I will get to the problems with it, but I will say though, I will get to the problems with it. I will get to all my flaws with this movie. But for now, I want to get into the good stuff first, because there are things that are real. There are very strong elements to this movie, very strong ones. Now where do I start? Let's talk about Katniss Everdeen first. I want to start with a bit of the main characters. Yeah, let's start with Katniss Everdeen herself, aka the quote-unquote first female hero. She's like overlooking so much female heroes over the years, especially the classic ones like Sarah Connor and Ellen Ripley. But actually, despite all the controversy with the character and Jennifer Lawrence herself that happened last year, I gotta say, Katniss Everdeen is actually an amazing character. Like, she's such a great character. might even be my favorite Jennifer Lawrence role performance, but maybe because I'm not sure. There might be other Jennifer Lawrence performance. There might be a performance from Jennifer Lawrence that is actually better than this. Better than this. But but Katniss Everdeen is certainly one of her best, and probably her signature performance, meaning her most well-known performance. And I can totally see why. I mean, Jennifer Lawrence gives such an amazing performance as such an amazing performance as Katniss. Like she is the perfect Katniss, though. Yeah, the perfect Katniss. I don't know if anyone can replace her. Maybe maybe if this franchise gets a reboot. And by the way, I wouldn't mind this franchise getting a reboot TV series. And in fact, I kind of want it and cast Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop. Oh, sorry, I mean cast Haley Steinfeld as Katniss Everdeen. Then that would be perfect. Yeah, I would honestly love to see that. To see a Hunger Games reboot with Haley Steinfeld as Katniss Everdeen. That would be awesome. But maybe besides Haley Steinfeld, I don't think anyone else can play this role better than Jennifer Lawrence. You really see Katniss Everdeen in her. You really see the character in Jennifer Lawrence. And I love her character development too, especially when she sacrificed herself to volunteer to be a tribute in order to save and protect her sister. That is what I call a perfect sister right there. And you really feel the connection between Katniss and Primrose, which is gonna become stronger later on in the sequels. But this one's also very good, despite them not having much screen time together. Because of course, they had to separate, and Katniss had to fight. Yeah, you still really feel their bonding. I mean, I love how protective she is. She is, trying to stand up to Primrose because she's afraid that Primrose might die in Battle Royale and that she's not ready for it. Yeah, I love that character arc, and I love that character, man. Yeah, it's just amazing. And also yes, besides that, the rest of the movie, she also really good as well. Really good as well. I also like her chemistry with Peeta, and Peeta's a great character. Yeah. Josh Hutcherson's best performance. Sorry, Mike Schmidt from Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah, Peeta is a far superior Josh Hutcherson role, and probably definitely is most well known role too. Yeah. And Peeta is certainly just such a great companion to Katniss. Great companion to Katniss. And you really feel the connection as the movie goes along. They start to form this really good connection, this really good bonding. Yeah, good bonding. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention about Katniss. I actually almost forgot to mention this earlier, so I decided to move on to Gale while I tried to think about what was that thing I was gonna say about Katniss, but I forgot. But yeah, now I remember what I was gonna say. I love how Katniss is very respected. Like people really respect her for really respect her for being the very first volunteer tribute and standing up to the daughter. And then you see them do this District 12 kiss, like they, I don't know how to describe it, but when if you know the franchise so well, I'm sure you know what I mean, like the Panem sign thingy, whatever you call it. Yeah, I love that. And I know, and I love how they didn't use that underdog cliche, because Katniss was already famous. Like she's already like a popular, like a cliche generic underdog story would basically be Katniss. Katniss basically being booed and hated by everyone because she's the main character, and they have to like go for this underdog story. That honestly would not have worked for me. I could have called this movie out for being cliche if they had the audacity to make Katniss Everdeen an underdog and someone that everyone hates. I mean, seeing just this character, seeing a character in something like this, actually already being loved, and you still root for her to succeed. Yeah, that is great character writing, right there. And yeah, I also love this concept. The story is actually pretty good. I mean, the whole concept talking about poverty and poverty and all that stuff. I mean, and this depiction of of the dystopian world. Yes, the dystopian worlds are kind of overused in YA novels, but this one is just one of the better concepts of this dystopian world. And also, I love this whole battle royale concept with tributes fighting each other in order to survive. And I love how how this dystopian world is similar to our world. Yeah, this movie has some realism to it. But the biggest compliment I can give this film is how it pushes the PG-13 rating to the limit. This is such a brutal movie that shows characters, specifically kids slash teens, brutally getting killed off, and you even see a bit of blood in there. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there are a few other PG-13 movies where you see blood, like for example, in Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, where you literally see this extremely bloody scene. Yeah, and that movie's rated PG-13, by the way. Yeah, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. But yeah, ooh, yeah, yeah. I mean, this one just this is one. These movies are some of the most violent, PG-13 movies you'll ever see. And hearing that the new one is going to be the most violent and gritty Hunger Games movies. Oh boy, I am kind of ready for it, but at the same time, not ready to see what they can pull off with all these gritty stuff. And yes, this is a very dark and gritty movie. Dark and gritty movie. Like specifically with when they showed Rue, who get killed off. And you see this really emotional moment of Katniss just being broken, that she wasn't able to save the kid, wasn't able to save the kid. Man, that is really dark and grim. Like, this movie is very ballsy. Now, I know I do sound like that I actually love this movie. Now, based on what I've been saying, I may sound like that I may praise the film, and you might be thinking that, wait, Frozen, why are you giving this? Why do you sound like you're giving this movie so much credit if you're saying it's okay and not that good? Yeah, while I think this is a well-made film, I mean, it has some great, strong elements. It has some very, 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 very weak elements as well. Oh boy, yeah, let's talk about what went wrong with the movie. What I disliked about the movie. What really kept it done. While I can respect this movie for what it was trying to do, I mean, it's kind of hard to enjoy this movie. I honestly don't really enjoy this movie that much. Honestly, I don't enjoy it. The reason why I don't enjoy this movie is because it's just very unpleasant to sit through. Not because of all the gritty stuff and the bloody and gory stuff. I mean, I love that. And in fact, we need more action movies. We need more PG-13 movies where they can actually push the PG-13 ratings to the limits. Not just these films, and also some other films like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, and what's the movie? The Sam Raimi movie, Drag Me to Hell. How could I forget about that? But yeah, besides those movies, this one, okay, wait. But how do I say about this? Yeah, I mean, I think I encourage more PG-13 movie that pushes the rating to the limit and try to make it very heavy. We don't get enough of those nowadays. But what makes this movie unpleasant and quite possibly uncomfortable to sit through is two words: shaky cam. Oh my god, this has some of the worst shaky cam I have ever seen in a film. And I mean some of the worst shaky cam. 90% of this movie is filled with shaky cam on almost every single frame. It's just embarrassing to watch. Like, I mean, like, oh my god, that shaky cam. Like, I just can't believe how insane it is. Insanely bad it is. I mean, who shot this and who shot this movie? I want to know, because, yeah, I mean, I hope he didn't do any more work. Like, I feel like this movie has the same cinematographer as the Michael Bay Transformers movie. Yeah, remember those movies? Yeah, like, yeah, like, and even like with characters just walking or just talking, I mean, the camera still shakes very hard. It's just embarrassing. How come not many people point out the shaky cam. Yeah. How come not many people point out this shaky cam? It's just really hard and quite possibly disgusting to watch. It's just gross, honestly. It's just gross. And yeah, speaking of gross, oh god, the CGI this one, yeah. Yeah, this is honestly a pretty ugly looking movie. Like it just looks ugly. Yeah, maybe the design of Panem I can get through, and the forest design where the battle royale stuff happens. Okay, but other stuff is like it's very cheap looking. Especially with those creatures, those dogs near the end. Oh my god, that design is just unfinished. Like, oh my god, and a few other creatures as well, so badly designed. Oh, yeah, badly designed as well. Just awful designs and wait, what else is there to say? I think I'm missing something, but oh yeah, that directing, not very good directing. Not very good directing. I think it's because Gary Ross just isn't that good of a director. I mean, just by watching the film alone, I can clearly tell that Gary Ross may not be a good director. He's probably just lucky enough that his film wasn't that bad. That it was actually pretty a passable film. He made something passable, but I can probably tell that his other films are bad because I mean it's part of the shaky cam is his fault. Yeah, because he doesn't have a very good direction. And yeah, he might be one of the things responsible for the shaky cam and all that stuff. And yeah, thank God Gary Ross did not no longer direct his franchise. But this is the only kind of weird how this is the only Hunger Games movie to not be directed by Francis Lawrence. Yeah, Francis Lawrence is the central director of the Hunger Games movies. Hunger Games movies. Yeah, but how do I say this? So yeah, if Francis Lawrence directed the other Hunger Games films, I don't understand why he didn't direct this one. Yeah, I think he really should have. So yeah, anything else I want to add? Maybe not really. Yeah, not really. Oh yeah, another thing I almost forgot to mention. The supporting cast is actually pretty decent. Maybe I don't love them, but the supporting cast is actually very good. Haymitch Abernathy, Woody Harrelson, Elizabeth Banks, Stanley Tucci, Donald Sutherland, Wes Bentley, all Toby Jones, Alexander Ludwig, Amanda, like all gave great performances. Yeah, the supporting cast did good performances despite the pretty despite a lot of them are pretty underused as well. Widow Shields gives such an underrated performance as Primrose, and I'm glad we're gonna see more of her later on. And Isabella Furman, I'm actually glad to see her in this one because she's such an underrated actress, honestly. Despite a lot of her films are just despite a lot of her films are just not very good. I mean, she's a very underrated actress. I can totally see that. And she's also going to be in a movie next year that I'm actually kind of excited for. I'm pretty pumped for, called Horizon and an American Saga. It's about Furman. Could probably be my favorite character in that movie. Yeah, in that movie. Yeah. And yeah. Yeah. I mean, Elizabeth Banks. While she looks very weird. I mean, I can get past that. Yeah, despite her being pretty weird looking, and also yeah. What else is there? Yeah, I guess that's it. Oh yeah. And also another negative with the film, like what they did to Gale. I mean, I know Gale is one of the main characters of this franchise, and Liam Hemsworth. Gale is probably my favorite Liam Hemsworth performance. In fact, Gale is my Gale is my favorite male character in the Hunger Games, and second only behind Katniss, maybe third behind Katniss and Peeta. But yeah, he's barely in this film. I don't know why they had to just not barely be in this film. So overall, yeah, I definitely admire this movie for what it was trying to do with having a pretty good story, great, a very strong character arc from Katniss Everdeen, very great performances from its ensemble cast, especially Jennifer Lawrence, and the movie desperately pushing the PG-13 rating to its limits. But it's not a very pleasant experience. It's ugly looking. Shaky cameras everywhere. It's really obnoxious. And it's just not a very pleasant movie. And not to mention the pace. This movie has a lot of pacing issues as well because it gets boring at some point. And I mean extremely boring where I just lose my attention span. So yeah, it's a pretty passable movie, I guess. I wouldn't say I dislike it, but yeah. So yeah, but with that said, I'm gonna give The Hunger Games 3 stars out of 5. Okay, movie. Yeah, this movie's actually kind of overrated. Like a lot of people seem to really like this movie, and even though if you don't like it, to me, I'm kind of right in the middle. So yeah, that's all for my review of The Hunger Games. This is my least favorite Hunger Games movie, and how does this compare to the sequels? Well, I know Catching Fire is better for sure, and I already know Hunger Games Battle of the Sun vs. Snakes, which will top this one. I know Battle of the Sun vs. Snakes will be my favorite Hunger Games movies. Fingers crossed on that. But for the Mockingjay movies, we'll see about that. I mean, I initially preferred the Mockingjay movies over this one, but honestly, we'll see because I have a little suspicion. I'm a little suspicious that the Mockingjay movies won't age well, but we'll have to see about that. So yeah, anyways, what are your thoughts on this movie? Do you like this movie? Do you dislike this movie? Or is this your favorite Hunger Games movies like what some people do? You know, I know some YouTubers like Harry Thomas Pictures and Mama's Geeky say that this is their favorite Hunger Games movie. Well, good for them. But I bet Harry Thomas is gonna call Battle of the Sun. Agree with me that the Battle of the Sun vs. Snakes will be the best Hunger Games movie though. So yeah, comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for my review on The Hunger Games Catching Fire, aka the movie that many people consider to be the best Hunger Games movie, like the majority. So yeah, bye guys.